Hello again. The South African National Taxi Council has activated a Peace Force team in Tshwane. Peace Force team. This comes after drivers were shot and killed right in front of their passengers. Taxi drivers are fearing for their lives now. 13 taxi operators have been killed in the last 6 months. The Peace Force team wants to stop the killings and keep commuters safe. eNCA Silindelo Masikane is joining us now to give us more on this story. Silindelo, good afternoon. What do we know about this Peace Force team and its mandate? I'm emphasizing Peace Force because I'm thinking there's force and then there's peace. But what is it about?
Well, essentially, Santako, which is the body where many of the associations where taxi owners sign up to, has thought of this Peace Force team that needs to be activated because of the spate of killings that they are seeing unfolding within the industry. The latest being just last week, Friday, Bradan, at a taxi rank in Johannesburg, in fact. And this is where passengers witnessed 2 taxi drivers who were shot and killed in full view of these passengers. And of course, at this point, investigations are still underway, but it's just one of a series of many attacks that are being seen in the industry. The cause or the reasons for this violence at this point are quite varied. We know of issues around routes, but we are hearing that there are issues around the relief fund that was dispensed by the Transport Department to support the industry following the effects of COVID-19. That there are issues really around that as well. But the organization Santako says that it's quite critical at this point to form this team that's made up of around 50 members who are going to be stationed at hotspot taxi ranks around the province. And what they'll be doing basically is ensuring that there's high visibility and also checking passengers as they make their way into the taxis to ensure that they aren't in possession of any dangerous weapons, but also to try and make commuters as well as taxi drivers feel a lot safer than they are right now with their visibility. Of these members of the Peace Force team. So the activation was today at one of those hotspot taxi ranks. That's the Dairy Mall taxi rank in Pretoria. We spoke to Santako. Let's take a listen to what they had to say.
What we are here to do is to condemn those killings, exactly. Whoever is so happy, pulling the trigger, we are saying really put a stop to that, because you are hating the country. The country is bleeding already because of the human resource that you are eliminating, because of the families that are so bereaved. We cannot be happy as the transport industry to see people dying like this.
Did you have a chance to speak to the drivers?
I wanted to, Bradan, but following this latest incident that took place last week, Friday, many of them are very anxious, scared, fearful. And many of them, even when I offered the choice not to be on camera, to speak off camera, and I would just record their voice just to get a sense of how they're feeling, none of them would agree to it. Eventually, I spoke to the deputy chairman of the association of which the 2 drivers were killed, were associated to. That's the JPM Association, which stands for Johannesburg, Pretoria and Marabastad Association. And the deputy chairman told me that, the drivers are really just not in a good space at the moment, and they're trying to do everything they can to try and ease the nerves, ease their fearfulness of going out to work, because it seems that going out to work as a taxi driver lately is a gamble for your life. Let's take a listen.
Panokulisa kakhulu kuma-passenger ngesehlo esenzakalele phambi kwabo. Lento eyenzakele yimbi kakhulu. Asiyithandi nathi njengama-operator ngoba phela sidla ngabo. Yibo abelungu bethu. Uma manje sebezothuswa, sebabona abantu befa, abantu bedutshulwa ngalendlela badutshulwe ngakhona. Siyabona ukuthi nabo bayathuka, nomsebenzi wethu sewuyehla futhi usubaphansi.
And what about commuters? What have they got to say? Because in the latest 2 incidents that we reported, they were shot. I mean, in some case, or one case, they were shot with passengers being there.
I mean, one can only imagine, especially when you are a regular public transport user, taxis in particular, not only are there fears around getting into accidents, but now that added fear of, witnessing a taxi driver being shot either while driving or just making their way out of the taxi rank, which is one of the things that Santako pointed out, is that they are noticing lately that the targets, the taxi drivers are actually being targeted at the taxi ranks themselves, which is why this Peace Force teams are being deployed to taxi ranks in particular. So I spoke to one of the community members at one of these hotspot taxi ranks, the Dairy Mall taxi rank, and she was saying, we see what's happening, but what can we do as commuters? She is quite elderly. She was around 60, 70 years old, saying that public transport, taxis in particular, is all she knows. It's all she can afford. And all she really can do is pray before she leaves her house and hope that she makes it safely on her journey.
Yeah, tough one, tough one. Thank you very much, Silindelo Masikane, for that. Hopefully Santako's efforts will bring peace and stop the senseless violence that we witness from time to time in the taxi industry, and putting lives not only of the operators and the drivers but the commuters at risk as well. Now,